too. This is so cute. The video's running too. Well, hello YouTube. Welcome to this segment from Breakfast at Emily's called Hey China with Emperor Meow. You might be wondering, why did the intro change since the last time I did a promo for this show? Originally, this podcast was supposed to be called Hey China with Chairman Meow, but then my parents were like, that is way too offensive to Chinese people, so you should change it to something more politically neutral. Cool. This show is hosted by me and produced by a former KGB agent who is standing behind the camera right now, and he's not wearing any pants. I just thought you guys should know. All right, well, let's get started. We don't have a lot of time. And I also thought it's important for the show to be super short because nobody needs to be listening for that long. I thought, what better way to start off my first episode than to introduce you guys to my co-host, which is this hamster. It's an oversized, morbidly obese hamster. His name is Soybean. So welcome, Soybean. I mostly hold him during my podcast because he makes me feel comfortable. The first episode is going to be called The History of Chinese People. What is China and where did its people come from? I actually don't know, so I'm going to Google it for you guys right now. I know exactly where Chinese people come from. It began with 4 major civilizations. And the first one, the Babylonians. And number 2 would be the Egyptians. And number 3 would be the Indian, not Native Americans, but the Indian Empire. Coming in at number 4 would be the Chinese civilization. That makes Chinese people really sad because we want to be first at everything. So the fact that we're actually number 4 and not number 1 is kind of sad. That's okay. You don't really hear the Babylonians anymore. And the Egyptian empire crumbled ages ago. The Indian empire is a lot smaller than what it used to be. The only one of the civilizations that actually is still alive and operating today would be the Chinese people. And that's why it's important to study Chinese. So that actually brings us to the end of that quick little history lesson. See, that was really quick and painless, right? What do you think? Did you learn anything new about Chinese people? One thing that is truly original to the Chinese culture is what we call our Chinese idioms. And in Chinese, they're called 成语故事. So that sounded really militaristic when I said it for some reason. It's just a 4-letter word, 成语故事, and what they are, well, they're pretty much things that you can learn to impress your Chinese girlfriend if you have one, or you can just impress Chinese people in general. But if you're really smart and you're doing business in China, it would be super important for you to know these Chinese idioms because knowing our customs and our stories, I suppose, will allow the Chinese people to have more respect for you. I don't know. That's just how it works. The first idiom that I am going to introduce to you guys, 一字千金. And so if you guys already knew what that kind of meant, then you are already one step ahead of a lot of people in this world. So the number 1 in China is 一, and my mic almost died. 一 is essentially just one line, as you can see in this beautiful photograph over here. Really simplistic and clean. 一字千金's meaning verbatim is one word is literally worth 1,000 pieces in gold. And even for gold back then in ancient China, that was pretty freaking impressive. Back in the day, I'm talking China's warring states. If you must know the numbers, it was around 475 to 221 BC, before Christ. And so we had this really wealthy businessman, and his name was 吕不韦, and he became the prime minister. All he was this really charming, kind of a womanizer businessman. So there was actually this whole myth behind him, and people actually believed that 吕不韦 was the father of Qin Shi Huangdi, who was the first emperor of China. But we don't really know that for sure. And we can't really do DNA testing. But if we could, I bet 吕不韦 was totally his father. Anyways, that's a story for another episode. 吕不韦 was this really, really smart dude, and he also really liked to read and write. And he one day decided to invite all of the celebrity nerds in China, and he gathered at least like 3,000 of them, okay, like 3,000 super nerdy people, and asked them to all collect their finest work of whether it be literature or just history, whatever. And he wanted to sort of collect them into one final masterpiece. This compilation ended up being like 26 volumes, and there were over 260,000 words. So that's a lot of words. 260,000 words. And this featured content about everything in life at the time. And so Prime Minister Lü Buwei called this the Annals? Wait, actually, I have to get my producer to fact check for me. It's called the Annals, right? Not the Annals? Okay. It looks like Annals because it's spelled Annals, but it's actually called Annals. That's what Google Translate is telling me. He published this collection called the Annals, and he put it out there for the world to see. And he declared that anybody who can find fault in this compilation of annals, wouldn't it be so funny if I said, he declared anybody who could find fault in this compilation of annals. Okay, just kidding. No. He declared that anybody who could find fault in this compilation of works, if they can just even eliminate one word, this was like copywriting back then. He said that whoever could change even one thing, eliminate one word, that person would receive 1,000 pieces of gold. That's pretty legit, huh? So several days passed and not a single person dared to edit the annals because people were really scared of him. They were really freaking scared. Nobody wanted to challenge authority. That's actually where this idiom is going. You know, the moral of the idiom was that. Okay, so the moral of the idiom is really similar to something that we have here in the States as well. You guys might be familiar with a picture is worth 1,000 words. In our case, one word is worth 1,000 pieces of gold. So that's a pretty freaking important word. We use that to represent something that's so important, it is worth a lot of money. When you write something, you kind of want to be succinct because each and every one of those words is so important. Now, on the other hand, it also kind of means like Chinese people back in the day, they were a little bit chicken to stand up to authority. Nobody wanted to even change one word because they were so scared of Prime Minister Lü Buwei. So, you know, that's also something to think about. That brings us to the end of this very, very short PCast. Again, thank you for watching the video on YouTube. If you are doing so, please subscribe and you'll see more of Soybean and me. But I really do appreciate your time and I hope that you learned at least something out of it. So yeah, go and use those words to impress the Chinese people in your life because I swear to God, they will be really, really impressed. That brings me to the end of this episode. Feel free to tune in next time. The 成语故事 from next week is going to be called 一举两得, and this one was really cute. It talks about tigers. Tune in next time. I will see you guys on other social media platforms. Click below to find out, and also feel free to listen to Breakfast at Emily's. It's where I interview really weird people and we talk about really weird things. Breakfast at Emily's.com. Okay, bye guys.